Stepping out of the train terminal, the first thing I noticed were the encircling mountains and how terribly flat the city of Hiroshima is. Truly, it is the perfect crater, and it was unsettling to think about how many people were burned alive just because of the topography of the city they lived in, just because the US military wanted to observe the A-bomb at its fullest potential, ricocheting off these very mountains that were now staring back at me. It's hard to separate Hiroshima from its bleak history, but it's also an interesting city unto itself. It's obviously a city that's been put back together, completely modern, wide streets, plenty of parks and trams that are always running on time. It's so consciously and precisely planned and pasted back together. The first day was spent wandering the city and ticking off the Peace Park and War Memorial, a park built where the center of the bomb detonated. The precise point is marked above a preserved but dilapidated, worn-away building. The park is otherwise nice and unassuming. It could be the Central Park in any other metropolis. There's fountains and children playing and birds singing. It's very eerie to be there. Ocean and I ate bento boxes before heading into the museum. Of course, the museum is somber. It has to be. But it presents the history in a much more dispassionate and impartial way than what I expected. It looks at the explosion and conflict as objectively as one can reflect on modern history. But it's hard to be objective about such intentionally inflicted grief, with images of mutilated children running down streets and beautiful floral pattern imprints branded onto women's backs from their kimonos searing their skin. Even if you're somebody who's not very political or interested in history, I think it's important to go. And I guess what's nice is that the gross mutilations and the particularly foul images are contained to one particular section of the museum, so if you're squeamish, you can skip that. Afterwards, we stopped by the Hiroshima Castle. If you've been to Osaka or Himeji, then it'll probably pale by comparison. Oceana actually had so little interest that she was just happy to sketch outside. So I went through the motions of it. I paid the $10 entry, I climbed the stairs, I saw the cool view from the top which emphasizes the greenery of the city. But that was kind of it. I didn't find heaps of value in it, and honestly it kind of looks nicer from the outside. The next day was Miyajima, a jungle island just a 30-minute ferry from Hiroshima. Totally by accident, I bumped into Jan, a Swiss guy Oceana and I had been hanging out with the night before. So this Swiss German and I joined in the stupidity of it all together. Of course, Miyajima, there's bowing deer, a few temples, and a massive mountain. If you only care about the deer and you've already been to Nara, then sure, the island's not worth a visit. But I was here for the mountain, and so was Jan. At this point, we had a choice. Catch the cable car to the top of the mountain like wusses, or march up the mountain in 40-degree heat like men. Obviously, we went with the latter. I'm conflicted on giving advice here. Parts of the route are so beautiful, with the canopy jungle shade, staggered lookouts, and an unreal sense of accomplishment when you get to the top and enjoy the panoramic views of not just the island, but glimpses of Hiroshima herself. Phenomenal! But just probably don't do it the way the two of us did it. It's actually dangerous. At midday, in the middle of summer, climbing up a mountain was beyond fucked. We were climbing upstairs for at least 2 hours, and I don't want to overshoot it here, but it must have been close to 2,000 stairs. We ran out of water within the first 30 minutes, my white t-shirt was soaked through, and we were both so diluted with heat stroke that when we came across a tiny ice-cold waterfall halfway up the mountain, there was no question. We just were dunking our heads straight in there. Also, there are snakes and shit, so I don't know why you would actually want to do this, particularly when you can get all the benefit from just riding the cable car, which I'll add by the way, we got on the way down, and it was fantastic. You have views of all the mountains and the crevices and the island and the ocean, and oh my god, just get the cable car. Again, once you get to the top, the views are mind-numbing. So whether you take the cable car or egregiously harm yourself on the stairs, you shouldn't be disappointed. We timed our arrival back in Hiroshima with the setting sun and reunited with Ocean. And then we hit the bars. There's a lot of cute, dingy places, and we found one called Kero Kero, which is how the Japanese articulate the sounds that a frog makes. And the bar was, yep, frog themed. We were the only ones there, and we stayed there for like 2 hours just getting drunk. The owner gave us free shots and played weird frog games with us. It was sweet. Afterwards, the natural thing for 3 white sunburnt tourists to do was get more drunk and find some karaoke. I'm happy to report we did both. It was fun. I'm glad I got to enjoy Hiroshima with other people, even if it's just the sublimity of the moment, a brief evocative friendship you never cash in on again. It's just so fun to explore cities and islands while learning and laughing with other people. My hostel was fine, another in the K's House franchise. It's close to the station and has a common room where it's easy to meet people. The showers are fine, the beds are fine. You can't go particularly wrong with it. Overall, Hiroshima has a duality that I think many people will appreciate. It's a city that suffered and bears the scars from the worst of human invention, but it's beautiful. The sunsets reflect warmly from its buildings. It's a city of greenery ringed by jungle mountains, and the people you meet are kind. It was overall an appropriate and bittersweet way to finish off those weeks spent backpacking Japan. Thank you for watching this or any of these. I had fun putting them together.